What's going on to all my Mad Maniacs out there? Welcome to episode 2 of the Mad Chatter. Today I am joined by my good friend Disney Dan. Dan, how are you doing?
The Mad Chatter is very clever. I like that. That's great.
Well, when I was coming up with a name for this, I was thinking about what I could connect Mad and Disney to, and Mad Hatter popped into my mind instantly.
I'm a strong supporter of as many crazy puns as possible. So that's good. I like it.
Thank you. All right, so today is episode 2 of the Mad Chatter, and we're going to be talking about a few topics of news that happened in the last month. And we're just going to jump right into it, but first, Dan, why don't you tell everyone what your channel is about and, kind of what you do.
I have a Disney, I guess you could say it's a Disney History channel, but it's mostly just, outside of it being a Disney History channel, it's just Disney Dan doing. So, my channel is Disney Dan. I also have a big Lego gaming website called Bricks to Life, where I cover and do some extensive writing for Lego gaming, and then it's just Disney history videos about the evolution of certain characters, their costuming throughout the parks. It's something that no one has ever done before, and no one had ever really specifically dabbled in. I'd seen a few written articles, and I've since made a few friends as I've hired on to help me research and stuff that were well versed in some basic costuming things. But the more I started to dig into it, the more fascinating it got, and so I made a silly Mickey video, and next thing I know, I'm like 30 episodes in now. I think it's been like 2 years.
Yeah, so Dan's most famous series is Distory, where he goes through and he does a lot of costume evolution videos. So, of course, Dan's channel link will be in the description if you want to go check out any of his videos. So the first topic we are going to talk about today is the new announced Epcot. They announced a new entrance and a new pavilion that's going to be going where the Wonders of Life pavilion used to be. So the new entrance, as I'll show the concept art up on screen right now, shows that they've gotten rid of the big stone pillars. I'm drawing a blank. What are they called again, Dan? The
legacy. Leave a legacy
stones. Yeah, so they're getting rid of those. I heard that they're moving them outside to in front of the entrance of the park, so they're not going away completely. And then there's going to be a lot more greens, and then a lot of fans were intrigued by the new fountain that looks very similar to the fountain that was there in the 80s, so a lot of fans are excited for that. But overall, it looks really good, and I'm excited that they're putting attention into, that sort of minor details in the front of the park. So Dan, what do you think?
Yeah, the only problem I really have with it is that they're so used to the use of that center garden in front of the fountain to do themed, unique theming for that topiary. In the concept art, and this is where I think the concept art's a little bogus, because in the concept art they have that section filled with a bunch of cherry blossom trees, a bunch of pink trees, which aren't always going to be blooming, and aren't always going to be pink and beautiful. So I'm thinking that those are just there as a placeholder because they're not going to paint in food and wine sign in the entrance. But I don't think that those pink flowery trees are going to be there. I think that's going to be a spot for them to do all their signage, because it's an iconic photo spot. People like to walk in, they put those signages up, they put those big topiaries up, those big statues up, so people can take a picture of it with the Epcot ball in the background. And they have a nice garden behind Spaceship Earth, but it's not nearly as so I think that'll be interesting. It'll be nice to see. And then I dig it. I think it's going to be really pretty. It's going to be nice. It's going to be one of the nicer park entrances around. I think it's going to be this beautiful garden that none of the other parks really have. So it's going to be cool.
Yeah, I mean, I think part of the flowers and stuff that are out there is in the concept art is just to make the concept art look good rather than having it be cut down a bit. But yeah, I think overall it'll really add to the experience of walking into Epcot. And the Leave a Legacy stones don't do much for me, so I mean, I think this is definitely an improvement.
Yeah, I think that the only people who are really upset about the moving are the people who left a legacy, but they were in the parks for like 20 years. It's fine.
All right, so they also announced that they are going to be putting in a new play pavilion, is what they're calling it, in the old Wonders of Life pavilion. And I mean, I saw a tweet, I forget who it was from, but I mean, it might have even been from you, Dan, but it was a lot. It reminded me of Disney Quest a little bit, kind of what they're doing with it. It's going to be a huge space with interactive games, but like no real rides. And we don't know the details on it yet, but it certainly looks very futuristic. I mean, it kind of reminds me of Ralph Breaks the Internet, to be honest. You know, the style that they're going for. But I mean, I'm mainly just glad. I didn't really care what they were doing with Wonders of Life, that old building, because it's certainly going to be an improvement on what they were using it for before, which is occasionally just using it as a festival center.
Right. It'll be what they need. So the problem with Epcot and the problem with that, thus then affecting the other parks, is that there's a very low capacity in Future World, especially right now with Ellen's Energy Adventure gone, which used to hold a bunch of people in the queue and on the ride. Wonders of Light Pavilion is down. That Odyssey building is like kind of like half empty half the time. All those Innovations West is like there's not a lot going on in the front. So what them dropping in more space for crowds, more crowd draws, is good for me, because it's going to help diversify where the public goes across all 4 parks. It's also going to diversify where the public goes once they're in the park, so that you're not going to have like a crowded Living with the Land and a super crowded test track, because it's going to start opening up other rides to kind of disperse those crowds, which is super important. And I think that and I've often long said that in Disney California Adventure they have this like Mickey art thing, but inside of it is a like theater where they play a bunch of like Mickey clips and all kinds of stuff. And it doesn't have traditional seating, but it has a bunch of benches and big open spaces for kids to lay down. And I think every park needs a space like that, like a dark kind of like calm space. And I think that there's going to be parts of this that'll offer that for people to go in, cool down, and take a load off. So I think it's a great. I mean, obviously it's a great addition. It's better than what we've got, right?
Yeah, I mean, the last time I was down in Florida, I went to the Land Pavilion to do Soarin', and I noticed that Living with the Land had like an hour-long wait, which is out of the normal. But I'm thinking to myself, at the time Mission Space I think was under refurbishment, and Ellen's Energy Adventure had closed, and the Interventions area was just pretty much empty at that point. So I mean, yeah, it was it made sense. There's not that much going on, but in a few years that whole side of the park, it'll have the Guardians coaster, it'll have that new play pavilion, Mission Space, the new space restaurant's going to be over there, and then obviously Test Track is over there. So that's going to flip real quick to a real popular part of the park.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it.
Alright, so the next and main topic for today is we're going to talk about Galaxy's Edge, because Disney recently held a press conference. I don't know if it was a press conference or what it was, but they pretty much released a lot of details on everything from cast member uniforms, food, merchandise, more details on rides. So there's so much to talk about. We're not going to go into too much detail so that this podcast could go for 2 hours if we went into the details on everything. But generally, Dan, what did you think about everything that was announced?
It's all some really stunning stuff. The food, even more so than what they did in Pandora, looks really alien and unique and foreign. Which I really enjoy. Even the plates look very like galactic. The merchandise looks really fun. I love the fact that they're doing like a really intense like Harry Potter Ollivander type like thing with a lightsaber, which I think is going to be really, really great to see. I'm also really excited to see like all of the because the thing is, I bet we've only seen 30% of what's going to be really going on.
Oh yeah, for sure.
There's going to be a lot of stuff that is just going to blow our pants off once we actually see it. And but I think all the reveals were really fun. Is there anything that stood out to you that you were really excited about?
I mean, I'm a huge fan of Satuli Canteen and Pandora and just what they were going for with all the food there. And I definitely was getting very similar vibes from the food that they released. It all looked very good. I mean, I saw a bunch of different, pictures of the different food that they're doing. I like the immersiveness on every single layer of this land, from the food to the merchandise, everything. It's going to be really amazing when you're not, standing in line for 10 hours for, the Millennium Falcon ride. But, I'm just super excited to just, spend a day walking around and just being in the land and seeing all the details.
It's going to be really remarkable. It really is going to be. It's going to be something. It's going to be next level. What the immersive theming is. The problem is that guests aren't going to. There's going to be so many guests that aren't going to engage in that immersive theming, which is going to really ruin it, unfortunately. It is what it is. That's just how some guests just don't want to play along. They just want to see it. But the immersive theming, just the whole area in general is just going to be a spectacle to walk through 100%.
Yeah, and then the other thing I'm looking forward to, you already mentioned it, is the build your own lightsaber thing. And it's not going to be like what they've done in the past, where you go to a long line of random handles, and you pick a handle, and you pick the end of your hilt, and you pick a color, and it's gonna be like a full-on experience, similar, like you said, to the Harry Potter.
What's cool about it is that it's not just like pick a handle. Like they have 4 different paths that the Jedi, that the Force can lead you down, like peace and nature, the Sith, the like order, and then there's different kyber crystals, and these things are going to be wholly unique, I think, in a way that we haven't. That the build a saber thing that they have over by Star Tours, which I think will stay. Star Tours and the merchandise inside Star Tours in both Disneyland and Walt Disney World, they're not going to be touched. I don't see that happening for a long time, because the merchandising in those are going to be seasonal. They're going to be whatever new gimmick is up. They're going to be silly, new shirts with the new characters on it when a new movie comes out or a new cartoon series. But in Galaxy's Edge, everything is going to be evergreen. And do you know what that means?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yes.
The theming of all the merchandise will be consistent throughout, because the idea that they're going for with Galaxy's Edge is pretty much that the merchandise that's being sold is what would be sold if you were actually on Batuu, which is the name of the planet, that they're theming Galaxy's Edge to. So it's not going to change. You're not going to see the 2019 Disney shirts in Galaxy's Edge. You're not going to see anything like that. It's all going to be merchandise that is specific to Black Spire Outpost, and it's not even going to be like stuff that you would see anywhere else, really. It's all going to be very specific and themed to the
a good
land.
example is like in Harry Potter Land in Diagon Alley, for example, in Hogsmeade and where they had Hogwarts. In Hogsmeade, the candy shop inside Hogsmeade, the Quidditch shop inside Hogsmeade, those shops have had the same merchandise in them since more or less they opened. I mean, that's what evergreen content is. They don't have to switch it out. They don't have to update it with a new picture of Chewbacca and Rey, because they're the new pilot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But pull that back and then pan over to Star Tours, the Star Tours gift shops. There's you see the pictures that are like, I was the rebel spy, and you see T-shirts that are Rey and Finn and Poe, and they're all in poses. And then 5 years later, when the next movie comes out, now it's all new shirts and all new kind of toys, because that's all the rotate. Like, that's a toy shop that does rotational stuff. But in Galaxy's Edge, we're going to see those gift shops grow. We're going to see interesting content being sold there, and we're going to see those things evolve. But it's going to take 3-4 years until another batch of things is released in there. It took a while for the Harry Potter Hogsmeade area to get new stuff. I remember when I first went there the first year they were open, and I go there now, and there are very, very different kinds of things on the shelves, because those areas grew, they expanded, the shops were able to kind of get more detailed and involved. But I don't think we've seen a lot of the merch, and I love that the merch is Jedi, is First Order, is Sith, is just generic Rebel, that they have all that you can kind of like pick and choose. You can go there and get dressed like someone working for the Alliance, or you can go and get dressed up like a Jedi. And what I'm really excited for is in like 4 to 5 years, when the dust is kind of settled, and then going there during like Halloween events when everyone is in cosplay, like hordes of Star Wars fans come, fully done up for photo shoots. You're gonna see some really crazy stuff because Disney Instagrammers love to take pictures. They love to be like doing the Disney bounding where they like would start to dress like kind of Jedi-ish or Star Wars-ish. You're gonna start to see some cool stuff, really, really cool stuff.
Yeah, I mean, this land as a whole is going to be appreciated for years because, you know, the first couple of years it'll be so crowded that it'll be difficult to really enjoy it, the details of it. I mean, you'll be able to enjoy it, no doubt. But, you know, for years to come, this land, they won't need to change much. It'll just be, it's going to be so awesome. I mean, and this is, the Harry Potter land, you know, at Universal has shown that a land with such immersive theming can, you know, stand the test of time. Not that it's been open for so long, but they haven't had to make too much changes, and you know, and then Star Wars as a, you know, fan base is beloved, and you know, there's going to be so many people that are coming to, you know, experience this, you know, this land for themselves.
100%. Yeah.
All right, so the next topic we're going to talk about is a real quick one, but I felt like it should be addressed. Captain Marvel comes out, I think it's Friday. Is it Friday? This Friday? March 8th?
This Friday?
Is it? It's March 8th. I think that's this upcoming Friday from when this will be released. And this is not getting enough attention, this movie, in the sense that Captain Marvel is the most powerful, you know, being in the Marvel Universe, and will probably, I mean, spoiler alert in case any predictions I make are correct, but will probably have a big role in Avengers Endgame, or at least a role that affects the plot in some way. And I think people aren't giving credit to the fact that this movie, while it is set in the past, the development of the character can ultimately, you know, hugely play into the future of, you know, the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Granted that we don't know what will happen in the events of Endgame, but I'm pretty sure that Captain Marvel won't be going anywhere in Endgame, granted that this is her first film. So, Dan, what are your thoughts on this movie? Are you excited for it?
Yeah, I am excited for it. I'm very much looking forward to it. I have a lot of respect for Brie and where she takes a stand on certain things. But as a whole, and to address what you're saying, this has got like kind of, I don't want to say like Wonder Woman syndrome, because, you know, Wonder Woman got a fair amount of backlash as well for just being a women thing, but which is just so stupid. But I think it's going to be a sleeper hit, in that the Captain Marvel movie is going to drop, and there's not going to be a lot of people. People don't know who she is, right? That's the problem. Mm-hmm. People don't know who she is, so they don't think she's important. So they don't know who she is. They don't think she's important, and so they don't. And they didn't stick like a majority of the public audience of the world who went and saw Infinity War didn't stay for the end button where they where you know, Nick Fury got the paged Captain Marvel, or even if they did, all it was a little icon on the pager. It didn't say paging Captain Marvel. You know what I mean? Yeah. So there could be a lot of disassociation there. And then to add on to that the general population isn't, they're casual superhero fans, and that they like the movies, but they're not super well versed. And so you add that onto the fact that they don't know who the character is really, and I don't think people are going to value it enough. But here's what's going to happen: the movie's going to come out, and after the movie comes out, shortly thereafter, we're going to get an Endgame trailer where she is heavily featured in it. Yeah. And then everyone's going to be like, "Oh, who's this?" People who don't know, the casual, you know, observers, so they're like, "Oh, that's Captain Marvel. I didn't see that movie. I should see it." And so it's going to do well. I think it's going to do very well. I don't know if it's going to be another Wonder Woman, but it's going to be good for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to it just for the sole reason. I mean, there's multiple reasons, but the main reason being that I know that Captain Marvel will play such a heavy presence in Endgame and beyond. So I'm looking forward to seeing, you know, the development of the character. And, you know, obviously Nick Fury has been shown to be in this too, so I'm, you know, excited to see that.
Yeah, it's
And
gonna make
I'm not gonna lie, I'm mainly looking forward to the snippet at the end of the credits, because it is 100% gonna be related to Endgame.
No,
So
no.
you don't
That's where
think?
you're wrong, buddy. That's where you're so wrong. Okay, take a moment and think about this. And I'm serious. Think about every Marvel movie you've seen, and think about every after credit scene that you've seen. Right? Think about all of them. Which of the after credit scenes that you have seen take place outside of the timeline of the film itself?
That's a good point. That's a
Right.
good point.
So we're gonna see an after credit scene that takes place when? In the 90s.
In the 90s. Yeah.
So get ready. This is what I'm thinking. This is my crazy, insane, I think, theory is what's gonna happen, right? Is like we're gonna get a really weird after credit scene where it's like two like young teens or like young adults like working hard on something, and they're like toiling away like a university or something like that, and then like something happens where someone comes up and introduces themselves to them, or they shake hands, and like the couples turn around and introduces themselves as like Reed Richards, and we're gonna see like the introduction, we're gonna see the injection of the whole new Marvel, the whole new like batch of Marvel characters that we've now scooped up with the merger, and they're gonna justify the fact that we don't know about them by giving us a teaser relating to the fact that they were while Captain Marvel was gaining her powers, these people were being introduced and they started their journey to also get powerful, which will then allow them to say, you know what I mean? Like they're gonna tease, they're gonna give us a Fantastic Four, or similarly, we're gonna get a clip at the end that's out in space because Captain Marvel's out in space, and there's going to be a scene where there's, let's say there's a big battle in space and some big ship gets destroyed or something, right?
Yeah.
End credit scenes cuts to the debris of that ship floating in space, and then you hear the soft like rumble and like hum of like a thing flying through space. Like Star Trek, they have a ship has like a hum, right? And then it's gonna widen out, and the Silver Surfer's gonna like slide into the debris and look around, and then like look to in the direction of like where something went, and then zip away. You know what I mean? They're going to get Captain Marvel is going to be the keystone of an entire new generation of Marvel films, right? I mean, we're gonna see the end game. There's going to be some deaths, there's going to be some retiring of characters, and there's going to be a new team of heroes, right? And so they're going to have to, once Infinity War, what they're not going to do is Endgame's going to end, and they're going to be like, okay, now here's a new what do they do? Here's a 3-phase villain that's going to be your next 3-phase villain, right? For phases 4, 5, and 6, because the phase 1, 2, and 3 villain was Thanos. He was behind everything from day one, right? And so now we're going to need a new villain, and who's that villain going to be? Is it going to be Galactus? Is it going to be, you know what I mean? So we have all these new big baddies, and it would be insane for them not to use them. And having that 90s vibe of things is gonna help. The only other reason I could think that there wouldn't be a stinger that wasn't in the 90s is that in the Captain Marvel movie itself, we see the progression of time, and we see her get up to modern times by the end of the film. Like where she catches up with the timeline of Nick Fury paging her, right? So the movie itself moves through time to present day, and then the stinger is her receiving the text, her receiving the page. That's what it has to be. If they're going to move the plot up into present, plot time, then the stinger is going to be her receiving the page, and it's going to be so unsatisfying to see that.
Yeah, well, I mean,
because back in the day, Marvel stingers were cool. I'm Nick Fury and I want to talk to you about the Avengers Initiative. What? And now it's like, I'm going to send a page,
it's going to be something big, because the one for Ant-Man and the Wasp was obviously a pretty big one. I assume you saw that one.
Yeah, well, I just led up into Endgame.
Yeah, but, I mean, I don't think necessarily that they're going to introduce the new characters. I mean, maybe. I don't know. And if anyone wants to agree with me or agree with Dan in the comments below, go ahead.
They've gotta make Marvel end credit scenes great again. All right, because they're not. They've lost the magic. All right, that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Well, it'll be interesting. It will certainly be interesting. And then, before we get into another big debate about what will happen in the 30 seconds at the end of Captain Marvel, before we've even seen the whole of the movie, we'll go into our last topic so we don't run too long. And Dan, I know that you're a big fan of puppeteering and you're a big fan of the Muppets, and I wanted to hear your thoughts on Kevin from Up has made an appearance in Animal Kingdom as an not animatronic, as a walk-around character.
Right.
And I wanted to hear, I mean, I personally think it's really cool, and I love walk-around characters. I love it adds a level of immersion to, walking around the park and just seeing a character from a movie that you like just walk right past you, so I just wanted to hear your thoughts on, Kevin.
So, I really like the bird from the hips up, okay? And what I mean by that is that the cast members, I've just seen pictures of it. I haven't seen it in person, and everyone who tells me they've seen it in person, they're like, it's not a big deal. You spend most of the time looking at its face, not its legs. But the legs just really bother me. And what this character would have benefited from was something like the raptor encounter, where it had some kind of like themed area that it could hang out in, it could lean forward out of, its little wings could flap, people could come up and take pictures with, but like the legs wouldn't be anywhere near the focus of, because there'd be a gate or something, let's say, or like and so, I like it a lot. I love the articulation of the eyes and the beak. It's some really, really nice rigging that they did inside the character to get that, because the cast members inside, and they're harnessed in there, and so that their head is more or less at the top of Kevin's head, and then their hands are free. And so he's got one hand on what probably looks like a broomstick, and on that broomstick is a bike handle. It's like a bike squeeze, and then there's probably like a drum or a wheel that allows him to operate the eyes, and then a bike handle to open and close the beak, right? And then there's just another little string that he pulls to flap the wings. That's all the mechanism is, but it's really, really unique and clever. But I don't like the legs. I just don't. The legs just drive me insane.
Now, to be totally honest, I've only ever seen video and from the top up. I mean, I've seen video of the whole character, but I didn't notice there being an issue with the legs. And I'll be showing video up on screen during this segment, and you guys can get to see for yourself. I do, the legs being what it is or not, I think it was a good addition to the park in general. And I think that I'm happy that Disney's doing stuff like this. And then the last thing I just wanted to talk about, just real quick, because it was a couple weeks ago, the Oscars, just happened. Dan, what are your thoughts on, I'll say Disney-related Oscar news?
I didn't even watch them. I know that Black Panther won a few things, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
The Oscars as a whole needs to fundamentally change in the immediate future, because it's a hot mess. Okay, it's just a hot mess, because they're losing their audience, and they're losing their audience because modern popular film genres are not being respected in the Oscar ceremony. And the Oscar ceremony is about excellence in filmmaking. And so they're discrediting a majority of filmmaking that is popular and has an audience behind it, such as action films, like superhero fantasy, sci-fi, there's just these huge audiences that if there was like a fantasy, like sci-fi, superhero category, I don't know what that category would be. It would be full of a lot of really great people, and I mean, I'd even be so far to say that you should subcategory out winners for like acting. You should have a category of acting for heroes and sci-fi. Like, there needs to be a big change to how they do things if they want to maintain their audience. and I don't see them doing it, to be entirely honest with you. And so I don't know where the Oscars. I mean, it's not going to go away anytime soon, but the audience is going to continue to get smaller and smaller until they make some kind of big change.
Yeah, well, I watched them mainly because Black Panther and Bohemian Rhapsody, which were both films that I enjoyed, were nominated for Best Picture, and I was, interested to see if they would win. And ironically enough, they were successful in the sense that they got me to watch because they nominated films that were popular, but they also drew me back again when Green Book won, which was a film I'd never had any interest in seeing, so in a way they took a step forward and 2 steps back. I mean, they got me to watch, so congratulations to the Academy.
Yeah, that's true.
But they didn't make me excited about next year's. I mean, the show as a whole, I thought, Black Panther did win a couple awards, and Into the Spider-Verse won, Best Animated Picture. But
which was really great.
I felt like throughout the night, it all led up to what I thought was going to be a win by either Black Panther, Bohemian Rhapsody, or Roma, which I didn't see, but those 3 all won a bunch of the smaller awards, and generally, when that happens, one of them wins Best Picture. So I was starting to get excited. I'm like, a film I actually saw might actually win Best Picture. And then they announced Green Book, and I was like, well, that was a waste of 2 hours. I spent 2 hours watching this build up to what I thought was going to be, a Best Picture that I'd seen, and it was not. So I agree, the Oscars need to change a little bit.
Shape up.
Yeah. So, that's going to be all for today's episode. I hope you guys enjoyed watching episode 2 of The Mad Chatter. Thanks to Dizzy Dan for coming on the show. You guys can go check out his channel down below. Dan, do you want to plug any other socials that you have? Twitter, Instagram.
I'm just on everything, so come and find me. It's not hard. They all have a search, and they all have a search option for. I mean, it's Disney Dan on pretty much everything, so you just find me. It's super easy.
And so that's it. If you guys have any suggestions on who else you'd like to see as guests on the show, leave comments down below. Any other suggestions, let me know. And I will see everyone in the next video.